Also, as promised yesterday, today I'm making video of debunking the evolution of eating meat for humans. So, my opinion is that humans haven't been evolved to eat meat, and I believe that's because of two facts. First one is that the majority of adults admit that if they had to catch animal, or if they have to shoot an animal and kill it by themselves, they will never ever eat meat again. And so that's the first thing. We are compassionate, and we have that emotional attachment when we kill animal. Whereas true omnivores, they don't feel regret if they kill somebody. So that's number one. We are emotionally attached when we kill somebody, especially most of us. And number two is if we eat meat, it's bad for our health. And I'm gonna read out some studies which confirm that even small amounts of meat per day or per week are linked to various diseases such as cancer and heart disease. So he starts with red meat. Eating red meat increases the chances of dying prematurely, according to first large study to examine whether regularly eating beef or pork increases mortality. The study of more than 500,000 middle-aged and elderly Americans found that those who consumed about 4 ounces of red meat a day, the equivalent of about a small hamburger, were more than 30% more likely to die during the 10 years that were followed, most from heart disease and cancer. Sausage, cold cuts, and other processed meats also increase the risk. Previous research had found a link between red meat and an increased risk of heart disease and cancer, particularly colorectal cancer, but the new study is the first large examination of the relationship between eating meat and overall risk of death, and is by far the most detailed. The bottom line is we found an association between red meat and processed meat and an increased risk of mortality. So they found even small amounts of red meat was increasing the risk of heart disease and cancer. There are many explanations for how red meat might be unhealthy. Cooking red meat generates cancer-causing compounds. Red meat is also high in saturated fat, which has been associated with breast and colorectal cancer, and meat is high in iron, also believed to promote cancer. People who eat red meat are more likely to have high blood pressure and cholesterol, which increases the risk of heart disease. Processed meats contain substances known as nitrosamines, which have been linked to cancer. The risk also rose amongst those who consumed the most processed meat, which included any kind of sausage, cold cuts, or hot dogs. Women who consume the most processed meat, about an ounce a day, so just ounce a day, it's not much, were about 25% more likely to die overall, about 11% more likely to die of cancer, and about 38% more likely to die from heart disease, compared to those who ate the least. The men who ate the most processed meat were 16% more likely to die for any reason, about 12% more likely to die of cancer, and about 9% more likely to die of heart disease. So these are clear studies that show that eating red meat is increasing the percentage of dying from heart disease or cancer. Further, a 2005 University of Hawaii study found that processed meat increased the risk of pancreatic cancer by 67%. So 67% is quite a lot. Another study revealed that every 50 grams of processed meat consumed daily increases the risk of colorectal cancer by 50%. So 50 grams of meat per day, it's just like a little amount, like this, little piece, and you are developing a chance of cancer by 50%. So if somebody is going to tell me we have been evolved to eat meat, so why is it that such small amounts of meat are linked with cancers? Also, the researchers found that Caucasian women in the group with the highest consumption of red meat appeared to have an increased breast cancer risk if they ate unprocessed red meat and poultry in comparison to Caucasian women with the lowest intake. Incremental increases in consumption in the range of 500 grams per week of all red meat and 200 grams per week of poultry also seem to increase breast cancer in the group. So as little as 200 grams per week in women increase the risk of breast cancer. For outstanding results, patients have to follow the SWANG diet strictly because even small amounts of fat make a huge difference. In the study, he published in the medical journal The Lancet in 1990. Dr. Swank found that a difference of 8 grams of saturated fat intake daily resulted in a threefold increased chance of dying from multiple sclerosis. So this is breaking, because 8 grams, that's almost nothing. 8 grams of saturated fat increased the chance of dying from multiple sclerosis 3 times. So that's huge. That means daily consumption of as little as 1 ounce of pork sausage at 10 grams, 1 medium cooked hamburger at 14 grams, an additional 3 ounces of porterhouse steak or 2 ounces of cheddar cheese at 12 grams significantly increases the risk of dying. So these studies all confirm that only small amounts of meat is associated with increased amount of dying prematurely from various diseases such as heart disease, cancer, arteriosclerosis, breast cancer, what else was there? Multiple sclerosis and so on. So you don't find this with starches or vegetables. You never find studies that confirm that a little bit of fruit is linked with cancer. You can eat as much fruit and vegetables as possible, and there are no studies that are confirming that it's linked to cancer or something like that. But meat, yes. There are studies who confirm that only a little bit of meat is linked with various diseases, and therefore we haven't been evolved to eat meat. Thanks for watching.